Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 16th February 2017. The first article, "The Devil is in the Fine Print" on the editorial page by Yogendra Yadav. It talks about the electoral reforms in India and the recent measures announced by the finance minister in the budget. They are, the first is, the total amount of the money that can be received by a political party in cash from a single individual is limited to 2,000 rupees. Previously, it was 20,000 rupees. So it means it has been reduced by 10 times. And every political party has to file an income tax returns. And they can receive huge amounts, whatever the amounts they want, in the form of checks or the digital payments. And finally, the new concept that has come into existence, that is called as electoral bonds. So we need to understand how the political parties convert their unaccounted money into accounted money. Let's take, they have 100 crores of rupees. They will write it down into 20,000 rupees of each receipt. So it means the bookkeeping makes them to white or convert the 100 crores of black money into white money. Now it has been reduced to 2,000 rupees. It means they have to write 10 times more slips, more receipts. And it is not going to change much on the ground. And the second and third points already coexist, already they are existing, and there is nothing new in that. And electoral bonds, when you come to this, how they are going to function, let us understand. Let's take a corporate company is there, and it is going to go to its bank and buy the electoral bonds, and then it will submit these electoral bonds to a political party. Here understand carefully that these bonds do not have any political party mentioned. Anyone who gets the bonds, they can use it. So I can go and submit these bonds to a political party. So the political party also do not know from whom they got the bonds, and who has bought the bonds, that only the banker knows, and banker do not know to whom he has given the bonds. And this company, when it files the income tax returns, they will show that this money has been spent on electoral bonds. And political party also shows its money as received from electoral bonds. And there will be no information shared with the election commission or income tax returns. Now, it encourages the anonymous donations to the political parties. It's a new route. Let's understand the problem over here. It can encourage the quid pro quo. Let's take same 100 crore rupees. It has to be paid as an a loan to this political party or as a corrupt bribe money to the political party. Then, instead of giving it in the cash, the corporate company, what it will do is, it will give it in the form of electoral bonds. And it also gain the tax exemption on the same. So nothing is going to change and the things are going to become much worse. That is what is the Yogendra Yadav talks about. Now ISRO sets the bar high. Now commercialization of space and using the space for the commercial activity is increasing, and India is on the forefront. So ISRO has a separate commercial arm that is called Antariksha. Now in this case, if we have to be pioneers in the space commerce, we need to have certain things. One is the cost, technology, reliability, these are the factors. In India, the cost is the lowest. It sends the satellites at 1/10 of the cost of the United States. And technology, it has got the fail-proof engine, I can say it as, the PSLV. And second, it also has developed or mastered the technology on development of nano satellites. And reliability, the PSLV engine has failed only once. And now, on the technology front, by placing 104 satellites, it has showed its fineness. So when these many satellites are being placed, you need the precision to make one satellite not to collide with the other satellite. That is being done. So we can expect a boom in India's space business. The foul air we breathe. So Global Air Study 2017, it has clearly placed that the situation in urban areas in India is much worse than other countries, including BC. Why is this happening? Because of the particulate matter less than 2.5 microns. Now, in this case, what are the sources? That is, the straw burned by the farmers after the crop, and the pollution from the diesel cars, construction work in the urban areas, thermal power plants, These are the major reasons for this pollution. If we have to fight with this, the agricultural residues which are being burned down has to stop. Now, we can use that agricultural residue for an economic activity. We can produce the biofuel from the same, and we can also produce compost. This, if we can convert that, that will be benefiting the farmers in both the ways. So we have to send or make the technology to reach to the farmers. The distribution of the technology is the biggest failure. That is what is the article stresses on. Time to break in India. It is about intellectual property rights in India. Now, across the world, the intellectual property regime, it has come up way back in the 15th century, and we are still continuing with the same. Now, if India has to be a pioneer in the intellectual property rights, it shall make its voice heard in the global arena. The pharma companies, they are stressing for more forms of the intellectual property rights under trans-Pacific partnerships. You already have discussed the data exclusivity clause previously. Now, if rejections are increasing with regard to the patents filed before the patent office, the first reason is most of the patent officers do not understand the technology. And second is, the technology itself is changing. In the era of the artificial intelligence, the flow of the technology, flow of information has increased tremendously. And something which is flowing, it cannot be patented for. That is what has been stated. You cannot call it as a property. Anything that is static, then only you can call it as a property. So in this information revolution, the patent rights are supposed to change, but that is not happening, which India has to focus on. That's the article talks about. A few good officers with regard to the conviction of Ms. Jayalalitha, Sasikala, Ilavarsi in the case of disproportionate assets shows the strength of investigation. Now in this, I can state it this way. If the rule of law has to sustain in a particular country, there has to be certain basic things. One is a clear legal framework and autonomous and capable, well-functioning officers, investigative officers, the prosecution machinery, and in India, we more and more depend upon oral evidence. We need to shift from that to the documentary evidence. The digitalization of the records is very much important in this context. These are the points Mr. Mr. Raghavan talks about. Planning for the people. Now it is about urban planning in India. So in this article, let's understand the role of the urban areas. Here parastatals, it means the parallel existing executive agencies in the local government. If you take Hyderabad, Hyderabad Metropolitan Development Authority is a parastatal agency. Bangalore Metropolitan Development Authority there. So most of the master plans in the cities are being prepared by these development authorities, and these master plans are guided by age-old Town and Country Planning Act made by the Britishers. So that law, it talks about spatial planning, not convergence of transport, sewage, drinking water supply, etc. So the network convergence are not being taken into the master plan, and this master plan can be stated as static. If you take the 74th Amendment Act, the 12th schedule consists of planning, development as the subjects which can be delegated to the local governments. And also metropolitan planning committees need to be established. 243ZE talks about the metropolitan planning committees for all the cities having the population greater than 10 lakhs. So, if the people participation has to be improved, we have to make planning process inclusive. And second, the master plans which are to be prepared has to be dynamic. So, these are the two suggestions this article makes. And coming to the Hindu major page, I loved this article about cloud seeding. So, how this happens is, the silver iodide, it has been sent through an aircraft into the clouds, and water vapor forms around it, and finally it downpours as rain. But however, there is no practical proof for the same. China, it was able to dispel the clouds during Beijing Olympics, and now it is also using this cloud seeding for the rains to cause, but in India, evidence is not been very supportive. So that's why Earth Sciences, Department of Earth Sciences wants to see the validity of this cloud seeding. So that is what is the article talks about. So these are the important articles for the day. and already I have given the notes. And please go through these electoral reforms topic. It is related to our Representation of People's Act. And science and technology space, you already know that. So time to break in India, intellectual property rights is also part of our syllabus. But just update your notes if you already have a fixed notes on the property rights. So please go through this information. Thank you very much. And all the best. I think today is the results day for mains. So let's keep ourselves glued to the UPSC website. And all the best for you. Thank you very much.